Greetings, family. It's Empress D. I'm in nature, of course. Of course, I'm in nature. Where else would I be? Like, come on now. I hope you guys are in nature too, or at least planning on getting out in nature, or have already done it. Okay. I hope you guys are incorporating nature into your daily routine. Okay. Um, I also hope that people are working on themselves. We all have things to work on, right? And so everybody should be working on themselves every day because we all have something to work on. I guess the problem lies where people don't recognize when they have things to work on, right? Which brings me to the topic that I wanted to discuss today. So it's kind of a big topic, but I was thinking about this word, and it's a really big word, okay? And it's ego. Okay, everybody knows that word ego. And I think most people, when we think about ego, we think about somebody who's conceited or somebody who thinks only of themselves or thinks um, really highly of themselves. And the way that they think about themselves in terms of thinking really highly of themselves isn't really warranted, right? Anyway, I think that's what people's general definition of ego is. And so yeah, I wanted to look into that a bit, right? Because, ego, the way I understand it, is it's the bridge between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. I hope that makes sense. So that's what the ego is. And so ego is a problem. Or when you don't have your ego in check, it's a problem. Or when you're not aware of ego, it's a problem. And I think what that means is when you are living in ego, you don't have you haven't developed that ability to self-reflect, right? And I think that goes hand in hand is with self-reflection is thought of others. And if we look at it, I know we spoke about it in detail when we looked at the chakras. It has to do with the solar plexus. The solar plexus is located in the navel and is associated with the color yellow. Okay, solar, sun, right? And so obviously yellow makes sense, right? And so that chakra is responsible for the sense of self or identity, okay? And so that leads into ego, okay? So ego is your thought of yourself essentially, right? An overinflated ego obviously is somebody who thinks more highly of themselves than they should. And obviously low self-esteem or an underinflated ego would be somebody who does not recognize their value and their worth, right? And so for me, and I guess it goes in alignment with the solar plexus chakra, right? When somebody has their solar plexus balanced or their ego balanced, they recognize who and what they are, okay? So somebody with a balanced solar plexus chakra or somebody who has their ego in check knows who they are, okay, and they have a very solid sense of who they are. And in saying that, that means that it's people who have a solid sense of who they are. Thoughts and comments from the outside world are taken in, but not overly considered, right? So somebody with a balanced ego or solar plexus chakra will be able to take in feedback from the external universe, from the external self, right? So from people and other things like that, feedback like that, and balance it with the feedback that they take from themselves, right? And so you don't too worry about what people think about you. You may take it into consideration because, hey, there's always an opportunity for growth there, right? Or for some constructive criticism or some constructive feedback that you can take in and see if you could if it applies to you, if changing or altering that what the person is pointing out would better serve you, then that's certainly something to implement, right? So that's where taking feedback from the external environment is obviously helpful. But when people put too much credence onto what other people think, that's an issue as well, right? And so what my whole point is that ego, a healthy ego, is able to look at themselves and evaluate themselves honestly. And somebody with a healthy ego knows their worth and their value, okay? And so somebody who knows their worth and their value, knows what they deserve and what they don't deserve, knows what they want, what they don't want. It's very clear. It's not wishy-washy. And it's something internal, and it's not determined. Well, I guess, it's not solely determined by external circumstances or external expectations, right? I hope I'm not babbling. So I think what I'm trying to say is somebody with a healthy ego knows their value, knows their worth, okay? I guess some people may interpret that as being cocky, but there's a difference. There's a difference. People that are cocky think that they're better than others. People that know their worth know what they've done to get to where they're at, and know that everybody can get to where they're at if they put that work in, right? So they know the value of what they've done to get to where they're at. They know their worth. That's a difference between thinking you're better than somebody else, right? So I guess if I can summarize, those with a healthy ego or solar plexus are able to recognize that everybody is equal and the same, but also recognize the value and the product that results when there's deliberate action and work put in, right? And so I don't blame anybody who knows their value, knows their worth, knows what they want, goes after it, and will accept nothing less. That doesn't mean that they're cocky. I don't think that that's unhealthy at all. I think we should all strive to be there, right? Because we should all know our value, all know our worth, and all know what we're wanting to receive, right? And what we're willing to go away with too, right? Because there's always balance. You can't always have it all. And I think that's the whole trick in life, or not the trick, but the point, to figure out what is a deal breaker and what isn't, right? And I think it comes with everything. It comes in with your parenting relationships, your spousal relationships, with work, with boundaries and friendships. It comes into play at all times. Basically, knowing what you're willing to put up with or willing to accept. I think that's a better way of saying it. Willing to accept, and knowing what you're not willing to do without, right? And I think that's the balance in life. I'm getting all philosophical, but this is the stuff that I think about when I'm out here by myself. My mind is just going. I'm an introvert, and what that means is that I need time alone. I'm one of those people that really likes time alone, and it's not to say that I don't enjoy company of others, but I really value alone time. And introverts really do a lot of thinking, right? And I guess it's because you're alone, and what else are they supposed to do when you're alone but think? Anyway, that's how I see it, family. I'm going to stop rambling, okay? I hope everybody's well. I do. But in my heart, I know a lot of people are not, right? And so I just encourage people to do things every day to try to help themselves feel better. When you do things consistently to help yourself feel better, you actually start to feel better, and you cope better. But it just takes some action, some deliberate action. Okay, family? So I hope you're well, and I hope you're doing things to help yourself be well. And I hope you're getting out in nature, okay? Fall is nice. It's not as sunny and bright all the time as summer, but it's still beautiful nonetheless, okay? Anyway, family, I really love and I value each and every one of you. And I thank you for taking the time to listen to this message. One love.